What's up guys, and welcome to FPL Today and a special video focused on the Second Chance Fanteam fantasy football game. This is a game that gives you that opportunity, if your season isn't going well, or even if it is, to have another crack at success in fantasy football. The Second Chance game starts on the 14th of January in game week 22, so we have plenty of times to tinker with our sides over Christmas. So let's quickly cover the game, how it's different from the FPL game, and then we'll go over the side that I have drafted so far and see if there's any changes that I want to make. So first off, what could you possibly win? Well, entry is free for one team, so you don't have to put anything in to potentially be in for a chance at winning the top prize, which is £20,000. We do also have other cash prizes. Second place, 7,500, and as you can see on the graphic on the screen, it does go down, but as long as you're in the top 4,000, you could win some money in the Fanteam Second Chance game. Quickly covering some of the rules that make this different from Fantasy Premier League, you can see that you have a starting budget of 80 million for a squad of 11 players. This is all starting players, so there is no playable bench in this Fanteam Second Chance. So instead of the bench, we have something called the safety net, which means that if your player in your first 11 doesn't start, you do get someone from the same position coming into your side to take their place in your starting 11. It has to be a player from the same position, and it will be a player of the same value or less. And it doesn't matter if the player you originally had comes on later on as a substitute. You always get the starting player. This is something you have to take into consideration when playing this game, because you will have that safety net in place, so you can potentially pick players knowing that if they don't start, the player underneath or of a similar value in that position from the same team will take their place. Another completely different part of this game is you can carry over your free transfers each week and have an unlimited number of saved transfers, which is a massive change compared to the normal game. So if your team is doing well, it's possibly a time for you to keep those transfers in your locker so you can have a big overhaul at a certain part of this Second Chance game. And on top of being able to save that many transfers, you do have one wild card which can be used anytime after the competition begins. So with the game covered, let's have a look at my team as it stands. Now, I did make this team when the game first came out on Fanteam, which was about a week or two ago, and we have Ramsdale starting in goal. Now, it's not the greatest first fixture, Tottenham versus Arsenal, but Ramsdale was a very popular choice at the time I was building this side. He's not so much a popular choice anymore, so this is a position that could definitely change. We then have Alexander-Arnold, Cancelo and James as options for the back three. Of course, this is big at the back, when again, big at the back was very in vogue. To be honest, I think all of these players still have massive upside with the potential for attacking returns on top of their defensive returns. So for now, I'm quite happy with this back three, especially with the starting fixture for Alexander-Arnold of Liverpool versus Brentford, although, of course, by the point this game starts, the African Cup of Nations will have begun, so the likes of Mendy behind James, and of course the likes of Salah and Mane for Liverpool won't be options. Speaking of not being options though, in my midfield currently we do still have Mohamed Salah. Now the reason we have him there is because I believe I'm going to want to bring him in pretty soon once he returns from the African Cup of Nations. So I want to kind of budget around the fact that I want to not be too many moves away from bringing Salah back in. So he's in there right now as a placeholder. I can kind of build around him and then nearer to the deadline, replace him with a different player. We then have Son, who has started to come into some good form for me, especially in FPL. It's been a big reason why I've had a rise in rank in that game to the top 15k. So Son is in the side at the moment, but this could be someone like Bernardo Silva. And to be honest, I did bring in Jared Bowen before his recent game, so I was a bit ahead of the trend, but unfortunately, because the game starts in January, everyone's going to be aware of Jared Bowen after the Christmas period, I feel, because I think he is a player that is in form, playing very well in the style of play that Moyes is actually getting that West Ham side to play. So I think Bowen could be a great move, an option going forward, even in the normal Fantasy Premier League game, but also he is in my Fanteam side. We have Conor Gallagher, who I'm now starting to ponder on a bit because, don't get me wrong, I think he's a great player. I think he will still be important to that Crystal Palace side, but potentially there's other midfielders out there, a bit like Bernardo Silva, that I might want more. Then we have Smith Rowe, who, again, not the greatest of fixtures. Tottenham Arsenal, though, could go either way. Smith Rowe has just not played in the game against Everton the day before I recorded this. To be honest, Smith Rowe is, again, another player I'm in an iron about. So Gallagher and Smith Rowe could be players I look at changing. And then up front, because we do have the likes of Salah, Son and Big at the back, we've only got Joshua King, who does have Newcastle as his fixture away, which isn't too terrible. And we'll see if he's still in form come January. And we still have Antonio, because I just feel like Antonio will hit form again at some point this season. But to be honest, Bamford now is definitely an option, as is the likes of Watkins and Callum Wilson, depending on the fixtures when we get closer to this deadline. Now, of course, this could all change because injuries. It's a very busy festive period. But this is the side I have currently. So what I want you guys to do in the comments down below is check out Fanteam first of all in the description. Go and make your free side, and then let's have a discussion about who you're going to be getting in for Fanteam in the comments down below and what you think of this Fanteam side. Are you excited for a second chance at fantasy football in a season? Because I personally think this is a great idea. I could have used this last year when I wasn't doing that well, and the year before, especially when I was doing terribly. So it would have been great to have this game to kind of focus on if I was having a bad season. But to be honest, a free game with this kind of prize money on the line, I was going to play it anyway, even though I'm having a good season this year. So get involved with Fanteam. It's free entry for this second chance game. So go sign up, get involved, get in the comments down below. Like and subscribe if you want to support the channel. I've been JNO. This has been FPL Today. And remember, it's all about the game.